Welcome to the Classroom Workflow with Google Docs presentation. This is part 2, and in this section we're going to talk about how a teacher would create and organize class folders. So in the last section, if you remember, we were acting as a student and we created a folder called For Smith John Science. That's our naming convention that we shared with our teacher. Now that we've done that, what the teacher would need to do after all the folders are shared is to go to his or her Google Drive account, and you don't see the shared folder right here, but if you click on the Shared with Me link on the left-hand side, you will see that there are some shared folders here. The one that we created in the last section was this one right here. For an example, I created some additional shared folders as well to show you how they would be organized. The first thing that a teacher needs to do is to create their own folder for that particular class. And because the way I have it set up here, we have 2 science classes, one for period 4 and one for period 6. So I'll go back to my drive, and as the teacher, I'm going to create 2 folders, one for each class. And I'm going to call the first one For Science. And I'll create another one in my drive called 6 Science. And these folders are where I'm going to store or move all of the shared student folders to, so that whenever they share something or put something in that folder, the teacher will be able to see it. So here I've got these 2 folders right here. Nobody's going to be able to see them except for the teacher. So then now I go to Shared with Me, and depending on how many classes you have, you may have, in our school, we may have up to 150 students in here, and that's why we need this naming convention so that we can organize and sort things a little bit better. I put in the period number because when I click on title, I can sort all of my folders numerically. And so I see that I have 3 4th period folders and 2 6th period folders. And so what I want to do is to grab all the 4th period folders by checking the boxes next to it and dragging these folders, and see how it says move 3 items, to the 4th period science folder. Okay, and you'll notice over here now it denotes that they're in that folder. Then I'm going to uncheck them and go to the 6th period folder and move those to the 6 Science folder. And you'll see now that they're labeled with 6 Science. So when I go back to my drive, you will see that in 4th Science I have 3 folders. In 6th Science I have 2 folders for those students. Now again, in a regular class you'll have many, many more folders. But if you look at the one that we created in the first episode, we have John Smith. We click on it, it's empty right now. But I'm going to show you what's going to happen when I go back to John Smith's folder. Here I am right here, and I am in the folder as the student. So here I am right here. I'm going to create a document in this folder, and it asks me, because I'm created in a shared folder, that the document will have the same sharing permissions as a selected folder. So I create and share. And at this point I'm just going to call it Test Lab Report. That's the document name, and I'm going to say this is a test report. Now, in Google Docs, as you know, you don't have to, there's no file save button, so it says all changes have been saved in Drive. So I can just close this window right here, and you'll see that this file now is in this folder. And when I go back to my teacher folder, here's my science, here is John Smith's folder, and you will see that it is here. The owner is test student, and it was last modified by test student, but notice I am in my test teacher account. And so remember, whenever a student creates work for your class, you will want them to store or put the file into the folder that they shared with you. That has the added benefit of only having the students, they only have to share the folder one time, and they don't have to share each individual file separately. So that concludes part 2 of this demonstration.